What's up, everybody? It's me, Bailey911, and another episode of Use Your Brain! Now, I wanted to go into quick this thing to say this will be the last very long Use Your Brain in a while, unless I specifically say so, because, yeah, I realize that, some people don't have 20 minutes to fritter away and watch me ranting about something, but this is the last one because this is something I'm very passionate about, and something that I really want to just kind of get out into the open and shut the people the hell up about it, because it pisses me off to no end, as well as it's a little bit of a common sense thing. And so simply put is that this is about bullying in terms of also joking and like joke bullying and like the sense of, can you take a joke, as well as what should you do in terms of like if you take it personally, and how does this affect you and why should you care in any sense of the meaning. Now, in the simplest way to think about this, I'm going to use a quote from a comedian, which I think is one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard, because it's opened my eyes up in a sense of, like, great... It's like thinking in the terms of a child, almost. And this is something simple. This guy, Steve Hughes, said, "Nothing happens when you're offended by a joke. Or you're offended by something that happens. Nothing happens. All that happens inside of you is that you're offended. You're just the emotion of sadness or anger or whatever emotion running through your body is just going off and making you feel offended. But you know what happened? Nothing ever happened after that. It's not like, oh, I was offended because Balin said something horrible and I didn't agree with it, and then the next day I woke up and I had no tongue. No, I mean, that's one of the best things to say in the world, because it opens your eyes into like how stupid the world is, as well as how you should think in the world. Now, obviously, there's a fine line in the world in saying that, we can't really just go off into, offending everybody that we run into, but it's like, why should you care? Now, I mean, if you watch a video, and obviously a lot of people go on and they kind of jump on the bandwagon of, hey, let's fuck this guy and hate him, in terms of commentators, and this is really dedicated to the Respawn army, is that people will quickly jump on the bandwagon of, hey, fuck this commentator, fuck this person, we don't like him, fuck his content, fuck this spammer. It's just like, if they're producing content and it offends you or it makes you upset, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. This is something that you don't need to feel bothered with. Now, that's not to say something like people who are offended or don't like content from a person don't have a right to say what they want. Like, for example, I don't like Tall Mountain on the Machinima Respawn app because the guy he's got a great voice, he's got great commentating skills, but he produces mediocre content. It's not interesting content, it's stuff that we've all heard a million times. I don't want to hear it, and he's always up on the front page, and I'm just kind of, I'm offended that he's always up there. But you know what, I don't go off on a big fuck you rampage and saying anything other than, hey, the guy just spams his fucking content. And I don't like that at all. And I mean, this also applies to jokes and being friends with people who are like, kind of assholes to you. It's like, if people are offended at the thought of, like, I don't know, let's say somebody is against abortion. This is a really big thing to, like, religion as well. Is that somebody's like, yeah, I'm really pro-life, I want every life to be sacred, and somebody else says, oh, I think that a person, if they decide that there's no need for me to keep this child, it would hurt them more than it would hurt anybody else. I would be ruining the child's life, and so I'm getting the abortion. There is no right in there that the person from pro-life respect can go and say, hey, because you're not going my side, and I'm offended at what you said, I now have the right to take over something of yours, like your freedom, or like I'm gonna kill you, which some people are pretty radical in that type of sense, and that's just my kind of a thinking about this. And, obviously to scale it back to more sensible terms, if somebody's calling you a fag, and I try to use this term loosely because I know a bunch of gay people at the college I go to, there's a lot of them, and I mean, they're not really offended by the word. It's just the context of what you say it, and it's not even offended that they just kind of look at you and go, dude, come on, why do you gotta be a douchebag? And that's one of the best things I've ever found out with people who are nerds or just outcasts of the world, is that these people embody the thought of, hey, we can take a joke as well as we can take the abuse, because it's happened to us a million times before, but what happens when people who are super sensitive come into the case? It's like people who are oversensitive to a situation shouldn't be given priority over people who have been bullied or in shitty situations. And it's just being offended. It's such a obscure word. It's like it's more annoying to people who are open thinking and open minded, to the sense of like, hey, this is not my right. This is not my place to say anything, so I'm not going to say anything. Whereas in people who are more radical towards that idea, they're like, you know, I think my voice needs to be heard, needs to be said. And you got to think about this too in a term of, where do I stand in the world? You know, and one of the big gists of what I'm trying to say is that shut your fucking mouth. It's a really simple concept. Except, don't shut your mouth when things need to be said. Don't just stand back. Like, basically, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. If someone's mouthing enough to you, fucking blow them up. Nobody cares. They're a dick. Fuck them. Nobody cares. However, if somebody's going to attack you, and they're trying to really hurt you, and even if it's like real physical hurt as well as real mental hurt, then yeah, you should go right back at that motherfucker and dish out whatever they dealt to you, or maybe even double. Because that's not fair, in the sense of, like, they're trying to make me feel like a piece of shit, so I'm gonna make them feel like a piece of shit. But, you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world in the thing of, you know, if somebody's trying to hurt me intentionally, I have every right to defend myself. This is something I'm really passionate about, too, is that I will mouth off to anybody. Like, here's a great example. I use the term Jesus Christ in a negative way, and I know a lot of people in my college, too, who get offended when I say this, because, you know, they're very religious people, and they feel, you know, Jesus Christ is taking the Lord's name in vain, or whatever, to them. And recently, I did it, I said it, and they were kind of like, hey, dude, you want to apologize for that? And I looked at the guy, and I just simply said one word. No. But I did say this, is that, you know, I have a reason, too, for not apologizing, and because he's an open-minded guy, too. He's really thoughtful, he thinks. And he said, you know, well, why don't you explain it? And my simple reason is this, is that when I say something, I said it. I don't regret what I said it. And that's the same thing. It's like, whatever comes out of your mouth, you should mean it. The point is that if you're saying things, don't regret what you say in this world. You said it. Don't go, oh, I'm sorry I said it. No, you said it. Don't take back what you said. And what I said to him was that, is I said, you know, I don't really take back what I said, but I will apologize because I have offended your belief, and I believe that, you know, what I did was a little bit less than friendly, because we're, you know, mutual friends, and we have a decent relationship. And it's the same thing with the world. It's like, you know, I offended him, but you know what? I wasn't sorry that I offended him. I didn't do anything. I told him, straight up, I'm not sorry I offended you. But however, I will say sorry because I kind of impeded on your religious beliefs, because that's something, you know. I didn't go out there saying, you know, there is no God, you shouldn't believe in them, anything like that. As well as, it's like, I was a little bit sensitive to the idea of, I'm not going to tell him to fuck himself because I don't believe in his religion. I just said, you know, simply, you know what, I said what I said, but, you know, I will apologize. And that's one of the biggest things you can do in this world. Don't be sorry for the things you say. Don't ever be sorry for the things you say. Just admit you did it and correct yourself in the future, because there is no taking back the past. The past is the past. Grow from the past and simply put everything in forward. Put everything else in motion. If you did something, you did it. Don't take back. And just like the rest of the world, don't be offended. Don't get offended, and don't care if you get offended. Just live your life. It doesn't matter. Just like the video game community. Your game doesn't affect your life. Go fuck yourself if it does.